Okay, everybody. So today I am really excited to welcome Dr. Ebru, and that's Ebru's actually her first name. She has a much longer, harder to pronounce last name that I'm sure she'll pronounce for us, but it'll also be in her bio in the podcast description. And she is going to be talking with us about something that I have not really covered, but I feel like it's pretty important. We're going to be talking about your skin health and how that impacts your autoimmunity and your inflammation and just how the health of your skin in general just has a big impact on your health. So welcome, Dr. Ebru. Why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself? Who are you and what brings you on to autoimmune rehab?
Sure. First of all, thank you for having me here. It's an absolute pleasure to talk to you. So, okay, where do I begin? So let's start with the name. I'm Dr. Ebru Karpuzoglu, and I usually joke about I was born with a microscope in one hand and moisturizer in the other, but I'm a born scientist, I guess, and a nerd. To be honest, I'm an immunologist trained in molecular medicine and over 25 years of research in how our immune system works, our hormones, estrogen, how does it affect the inflammation, and how estrogen impacts the autoimmune diseases and why females have more autoimmune diseases in general. So, and also something we often underestimate, where does the skin stand in all of this? So my career began in mostly academic labs, researching autoimmunity, inflammation, how hormones influence the immune responses. But one might say, okay, you were in immunology. How did you go towards the skin? And the reason is more personal because I was battling with really bad acne. It became cystic, especially when I was doing my PhD, thanks to the stress. And also watching my father suffer severe skin reactions during his battle with cancer. And then I realized we're missing something. Both it's huge in medicine and beauty and in research, because at that time during the 90s and if we go back 80s, as far as I can remember, skincare industry wasn't respecting the immune system. It wasn't acknowledging that the skin immunity is also a part of this. So it was trying to just fix the surface, so to say. So that was my moment of realization, and then it planted the seed for AveSeena. What we have today, our brand that fuses the science, the sensory elegance, and the immune respect in every drop. So that's how it kind of started. So my aim is to calm the chaos if I can.
That's awesome. That's great. That's a lot of good words of wisdom right there. Could probably do a whole podcast just on some of the different things you brought up there. But you're right. I mean, skincare, generally speaking, they don't take into account inflammation, your immune system, all that kind of stuff. They just don't, and not to mention all the toxins that are in a lot of skincare. I mean, that's a whole nother can of worms in and of itself. They not only do they not respect and create skincare that's actually good for you, they put things in it that actually can make your autoimmune conditions worse, or in some cases even give you an autoimmune condition. So it's complicated. So what would you tell us? I know there's different theories, different people have different ideas about there. Why do you think that more women have autoimmune conditions?
Well, there's a different there's certain okay, let me rephrase that. It's not only one reason. There are several reasons, right? Yep. So sex hormones is one of them. Also, the genetic component is another. Lifestyle, stress. Women are more stressed than men. I'm sorry if there is men listening. That's the truth. I'm sorry, but we handle a lot of stuff. And the hormones, estrogen, progesterone, is harder on females. Like men have testosterone predominantly. They have estrogen as well, but the females have to go through these changes every month, starting from 12 years old. Every day, it's a different profile. And then when you go into menopause, that's another thing. And then there's the genetic component to it. So we have two X chromosomes. And if we were looking at the genetic aspect of it, let's say there is a gene that makes you more susceptible to a certain type of autoimmune disease. And if it's on one chromosome, you're fine. But if it's on both chromosomes, you're kind of screwed. So there's the double effect. So that's why females are a little bit more susceptible, like 1 to 8 susceptible compared to men,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
that's true. Yeah, I mean, I can totally see that. Yeah, absolutely. Makes a lot of sense. So let's talk a little bit about skincare and autoimmunity then. So why, do we need to really take a look at skincare, what we're putting on our skin, and how that impacts your immune system and your autoimmunity?
Oh, definitely. So first, let's talk about our life. Since COVID, the life is getting harder and harder. That's at least that's what I'm feeling, It's getting more stressful. It's not getting easy. It's getting harder. I mean, we have all these internet and everything was supposed to make our lives easier, but it made it faster. It made it crazy faster. That means stress, right? So if this is taking an impact on a normal, healthy person, what is the impact on a person who has autoimmunity? Double whammy. It's not easy. I mean, life is not easy, but then on top of it, the autoimmunity, right? And let's talk about the skincare. So, skincare is supposed to make us happy and comforted. That's your 5 minutes in the bathroom away from everything. So, unfortunately, many people think of skincare as a surface level thing or a luxury or a vanity project, which is not. But for the people with autoimmune challenges, and I don't want to say problems, it's challenge, skincare is much more like a daily therapy. Let's put it that way. If you have the right skincare, that is. So your skin is your largest organ. And I would like to say it's also the largest immune organ because it feels everything, it sees everything, it defends you against everything. It contains these resident immune cells like Langerhans cells, dendritic cells, mast cells, and they act like your overprotective bouncers at a very exclusive club. I mean, a bug comes in or a cut happens, these cells say, nope, you can't go forward. We're protecting this body. They're constantly scanning, assessing, reacting. However, in autoimmunity, these bouncers, your personal bouncers, tend to get a little trigger happy. Let's put it that way. And why does it get trigger happy? Because it starts attacking their own cells as well. So with people with autoimmunity, skin often becomes this early messenger of internal imbalance. Okay, so these like Langerhans cells, dendritic cells, all trained to detect all these threats, but these same cells can misinterpret these harmless signals as danger, and then your skin will react faster. You will have more irritation. So when you have the right skincare, and everybody's skincare is going to be routine is going to be different for themselves, we need to think as skincare is your daily opportunity to respect, to regulate, and visibly calm what's happening to your skin. Okay, so we know what you put on your skin doesn't actually sit there. I wish it was, but it doesn't. So an autoimmune prone skin that is usually sensitive and reactive and inflamed will react faster compared to a normal skin. So when we come to the traditional mass market skincare, those are usually overloaded with harsh exfoliants or allergens or ingredients that your skin is not going to like as an autoimmune prone skin. And it's like waving a flag in front of an overzealous immune system. Okay. So this is where it's important choosing a gentle, scientifically formulated products, real products that will help the unnecessary load on the skin. So I think this is where we always overlook this situation. We think skincare and we walk away. However, that's not the case. There is also a tremendous emotional aspect to it. So let's say you have a skincare routine and it's not working. it's making you irritated. So we know there's an immune component to it, but then there's also an emotional component to it, right? It's making
Oh
you
yeah.
stressed because it's not working. You're getting irritated. You're worried. How am I going to fix this? So again, when you worried, your immune system doesn't know if you're in a fight or a flight response. It's stressed.
Yep.
So it's supposed to help you. That's why, especially in an autoimmune prone person, skincare routine becomes really important. One, because of the ingredients. Two, does it induce irritation, inflammation? Three, does it make that person happy? There's the emotional component.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I know I've noticed that, one of the signs I can tell if I'm overstressed or having a flare up, if you will, is with rashes, and it
Yeah.
will show up in the skin. And yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm not autoimmune, but it happens to me too. I start itching, some kind of a rash when you're overstressed. It happens to all of us. And even in an autoimmune situation, it may get worse.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So if somebody's listening to this and they're thinking, oh, wow, I hadn't really even considered that, I should pay more attention to my skincare with wellness and with my autoimmune, what is one thing that you would say that they should think about first? What should be the first thing that they think about?
Well, first and foremost, skin is not separate from your overall wellness. It's a part of your immune system, it's a part of your nervous system, because when we look at our skin, we see a barrier because it's our outer layer, but it's an open system. It's not a closed system. So it's not separate from your wellness. And with the autoimmune conditions, when the redness and the itchiness and the breakouts and the hypersensitivity are coming up on your skin, it's your skin talking to you. Never ignore that talk, because when these are happening, your skin is saying, I am overwhelmed. Can you please help me? I can't handle this anymore. I need your help. So that's one part. And second of all, your skin barriers are your personal shield. So when it's weak due to stress, inflammation, or even aggressive skincare, it lets the irritants and moisture out. Cue the flare ups. It's going to flare up. It's not going to be fun. So, and this stress and poor sleep and food sensitivities, even how you feel about your skin at that moment, is going to impact. So I would say the wellness, thinking it as a whole, not, oh my God, my skin is going bad, I need to fix it. No, it's a wellness thing. It's a whole thing. It's the whole system. It's just the skin is just mirroring it out and trying to talk to you.
That's good. That's important. Yeah, I think that's important to realize is, like you said, I mean, your skin is your biggest organ, and yeah, it's like skin is talking to you just like all your other organs are talking to you and telling you, hey, hello, I need help. So what would you say would be one small but powerful change that somebody who's listening today can make to help support their skin's immune health?
Oh, God. First of all, give yourself a break. You're doing the best you can. And especially in an autoimmune situation, you have lots to handle. So, second of all, try to choose the right skincare. Don't go for the mass market. Your skin and you are too precious to be spending. Like my dad had a saying, I am not rich enough to buy cheap stuff. Because then if you buy cheap stuff, you have to pay it in a different way. So if you buy a cheap shoe, you have to end up repairing it, or cheap car, you end up with more. So skincare is no different. If you get a cheap skincare, the downstream is not going to be very satisfactory. Let's put it that way. So that would be another change. Also, I mean, treat your skincare and your time as your personal sacred pause, like a daily mini vacation just for 2 minutes. Lock the door, put the earplugs on, and just treat yourself, because you deserve it. On top of it, let's put the skincare on the other side. What you eat, how you treat yourself, your inner conversation. Like, don't be hard on yourself. Everybody messes up. And take a breather and try to meditate. Give yourself a break. This is the most important thing, I think.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. So you would say that probably, so what would be some of the everyday mistakes that people make with their skincare that can worsen their inflammation, especially if you have autoimmune issues? You've already mentioned some of those, like not using the wrong kind of skincare, using toxins, getting too stressed out. Anything else that you feel like would be a common mistake that people
Oh
make?
yeah, definitely. So what would make the inflammation and the irritation even worse, especially for those with the autoimmune issues? That is the question. So first of all, let's talk about exfoliation. So unfortunately, on TikTok and the social media, everybody focuses on, oh, I need to exfoliate. I need to use this. I need over exfoliation is the enemy of the skin. Everything in moderation, right? So the social media gave us this idea somehow if you over exfoliate you're gonna glow. Yeah, you're gonna glow for a day, next day you're gonna have an irritation. That's not glowy at all. No. So like, try to stay away from these daily scrubs, acid peels, and even those innocent looking, acidic pads. Those are very aggressively polishing away your skin barriers. And if you have an autoimmune disease prevalence, your skin is more sensitive compared to the rest of the population. So these pads are not designed for you. These acidic toners are not for you. So you need to find another way. So that's one thing. Another thing is mixing very powerful active ingredients with each other. That's another TikTok trend, by the way. So, for example, using acidic toners like AHA and then retinoids at the same time, that's a recipe for disaster. So, another common mistake, over cleansing. And on top of it, let's say you're not exfoliating, but your skin looks dull. You want to over cleanse. You want to get rid of the oiliness. That's not good either. Anything that's over is bad. So it might feel great. That squeaky clean feeling might feel great. But what's going to happen is when you over cleanse your skin is going to try to replace what is missing. So that's another thing. So these are the key things. Of course, there is also the ingredients. You need to know which ingredients make your skin unhappy. So, for example, I'm just going to put it out there. Some people hate coconut oil. Hate. They break out like crazy. Some people with latex allergies cannot use shea butter. So you need to also know your personal biases that are good for your skin and bad for your skin.
It's good. That's a good point. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, this has really been good. So I know you obviously, you have a big background, as a doctor, research, immunology, all that stuff, but you also started your own skincare line. So tell us a little bit about that and how did that evolve? How did you go from being a doctor and a science and researcher to say, oh, I need to make my own skincare?
Well, I didn't create AveSeena just to create a skincare brand, to be honest. I created it because I was exhausted with skincare brands. I just hit the peak frustration, and just not like an immunologist, but as a woman, as a consumer who had enough of the skincare marketing that treated me like I never opened up a book. I can't think for myself. I can't research for myself. And I find that very disrespectful on the behalf of the general industry. All women are very smart and they know what they want. So here's the thing. Every jar, when it's like 80s, 90s, and my age is coming out at this point, but it's okay. Every jar had one hero ingredient and promised the world, I mean, you will glitter, you will glow, and it just bored me. You would get it, it would look nice, and it would be loaded with perfumes, by the way. Smells amazing, but it doesn't do anything. And it was followed by this inevitable letdown. And I was a student, and I was spending my money on this to make my skin better, right? And it's just, under all this glamour, it felt hollow. And I was tired of that. And I thought, what if there were a skincare made by someone who actually knows how the skin works at the deepest level? Someone who doesn't underestimate the intelligence of the skin, because skin is intelligent. It knows what it wants, you know? And then I I think women don't need another fantasy. They don't need another fantasy or skincare. I wish we would look all like those supermodels when we put on the cream. It doesn't work that way. So AveSeena wasn't born out of skin marketing, brainstorm. AveSeena was born from this moment of clarity. We do not need more skincare, but we need better thinking. We need something that works, that we need something that has the real science in it, So that AveSeena was created for the women who was tired of being sold things instead of being seen and being understood, which kind of was me because I was tired of listening all that. So yeah.
That's good. I like that because you're right. A lot of the skincare is created just based on marketing and hype, or because it smells good, or because, somebody has some idea of something they think will work good. But there's no real, like you said, no real science behind it. There's no real evidence that it actually works, and actually, in most cases, will harm people with autoimmunity. So yeah, that's good. I like that for sure. Absolutely. So, what would you say makes, obviously, the whole fact that you formulated as a doctor and immunologist is definitely something that makes it unique, but what else would you say makes AveSeena different from like traditional, or even, like your clean skincare that people might be researching or that they've tried? There's a lot of brands out there that don't have all the toxins and things in there. What still makes AveSeena different from that?
Yeah. So more and more brands, including the masstige brands, are going towards clean beauty. So what does clean beauty mean? Let's talk about that. So clean beauty means not using the ingredients that could be or are bad for the skin. Toxin would be a harsh way of saying it, but certain ingredients. So as AveSeena, the formulation during the formulation step, we completely stay away from those. That's around like 1,500 to 1,600 different chemicals. So we stay away from those. But on top of that, and I want to mention here one thing, natural doesn't always mean clean, because there are some natural ingredients that are going to be horrible for the autoimmune and the sensitive skin. But there are some chemical or natural based chemical ingredients that are going to work great for your skin. So not everything natural is good. Not everything synthetic is bad. The right thing is to find the right combination and the right ingredients that are going to work for the skin, not against it. So with AveSeena, what we do, what's our difference is every ingredient is vetted by the scientific publications on PubMed. PubMed is where everybody publishes all the scientific publications. Everything is there. Everything is peer-reviewed, and everybody can see it. It's a free resource. So we do that. And another thing we do is this. You don't need 5 different creams to solve 5 different problems. You can have one cream to solve 5 different problems. That's easy. Because during COVID, as you can remember, everybody was using these masks and their faces were getting irritated because the mask was constantly touching their face. Yeah. So imagine you're doing a 10-step Korean skincare routine, and you're touching your face 10 times, even more. What's going to happen? It's going to break out. I know, because I tried. I broke out the next day. It took me a month to fix my face. So with AveSeena, what we're trying to do is multi-targeted and multifunctional products. So multi-targeted meaning solving several challenges related with signs of inflammaging, dullness, premature aging, dryness, that kind of thing. Multi-targeted, multifunctional means that you can use several ingredients to solve those problems we talked about in one formula. You can do that. That doesn't mean that you have one hero ingredient. You're going to have a lot of ingredients that work together. So AveSeena does that. So there's one cream. The price range is a little high, but here's the kicker. When you calculate it per ounce per drop, it's actually cheaper than buying a Nivea because it also works. So that is the difference. And also it's cruelty free and safe skin sealed, certified. So that is given by the Skincare Anarchy, and that shows that the product is clean, the product is working and efficient.
Cool. That's awesome for sure. Cool. So we will talk more about it in the description below. We will get some PubMed articles and even link them, so those of you that are science nerds can check them out. We also have a coupon code with a discount that we will include with the website below in the description. And anything else that you want to talk about that we didn't cover yet?
Anything. Well, being autoimmune patient or disease, living with that is not easy. I completely understand. I don't have one, but I have friends who have one, like lupus, rheumatoid arthritis. Please don't be hard on yourselves. You are amazing as you are, and you're doing the best you can. And believe in yourself. I believe in you. You're just amazing. And you're superheroes in my eyes, seriously. So, yeah, that's about it.
That's awesome. That's great. So thanks for coming on. And yeah, like I said, check the description below because that's where we'll have a link to AveSeena website. We'll have the coupon code for a discount for you. We'll have some PubMed articles and anything else that we decide we want to link. I know you're pretty active on Instagram, so we'll include your Instagrams as well so people can follow you along and learn all more about your skin and your autoimmunity and how what you put on you and how you treat your skin impacts your autoimmunity. So this has been great. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks so much for having me. It was an absolute pleasure.